If you've ever wondered how much you should be spending on podcast production, you're not alone. You've probably even scoped out some other podcasts online and wondered how much they are spending on production.
You're listening to Podcasting for Financial Professionals, the show where smart advisors, planners, CPAs, and money experts learn how to use podcasting as their most powerful marketing tool. I'm Virginia Elder, podcast strategist and founder of Podcast Abundance. Since 2019, I've helped financial professionals stop wasting time on random marketing tactics and instead build a podcast that increases authority, expands reach, and consistently drives leads. Before we jump in, I've got something that will change the way you think about your podcast. The most important 30 seconds of your show happens right after someone hits play. And most hosts have no idea what to say, how to make an impact, or how to capture the right listener that quickly. That's why I created the Attraction Messaging Blueprint, your simple guide to crafting a strong trailer, a tight 30-second intro, and a clear outro that actually generates leads for your business. Grab yours today at podcastabundance.com/attraction messaging blueprint.
Well, today I'm breaking down a key data point from the 2025 Independent Podcaster Report that every professional needs to hear. And honestly, this episode might give you a little tough love. The report shows this: 52% of podcasters who invest more than $100 per month into their podcast are less likely to stay stuck under 50 downloads than people spending nothing. In plain language, putting money into your podcast production correlates with better audience outcomes. For financial professionals, this sounds familiar. You already understand the relationship between investment and return. And your podcast isn't a hobby. It's part of your marketing engine designed to increase your authority, expand your reach, and generate leads for your business. And the key is this: a podcast that looks, sounds, and performs like a business asset gets treated like one by listeners. Let's talk some real numbers, because the online space absolutely loves to act like everything should just cost like $20 and a wish. My clients typically invest anywhere from $700 a month up to $5,000 per month in podcast production services, depending on several factors, whether they're doing audio or video, episode length, frequency of publish, repurposing needs like YouTube, Reels, carousel graphics, blog posts, emails, their podcast SEO focus, guest coordination, and publishing management. And yes, some clients work with us based on seasonal custom packages versus a monthly ongoing production price. So why the range? I mean, $700 to $5,000 is a big gap. And that's because a podcast can be as light or as leveraged as you want it to be. A simple audio-only weekly show is one level of investment. A full-blown YouTube-first show with multiple short-form video pieces cut out of it, social graphics, very lengthy descriptions, repurposed into a blog and newsletters, all kinds of things going on. Yeah, that's an entirely different level of visibility and lead generation and investment. So, bottom line, with me, you're not just paying for editing. You're paying for strategy, execution, consistency, and business impact. Here's something most podcasters don't think about. The Small Business Administration, the SBA, recommends that small businesses spend up to 10% of revenue on marketing. For a very small business, that feels like a huge chunk. But for businesses doing multiple six figures or more, that number becomes very doable and maybe even low. So if you're doing 300, 500, or 750,000 per year in your firm, and you want your podcast to actually work for you, your production investment needs to match your business's stage. A show that brings in referrals, nurtures leads, and increases your authority is worth way more than the dollars you put into it. Here's the deal. DIY is perfectly fine until it isn't. You can handle your own editing. Someone on your team might be perfectly capable of making your own graphics. They could also publish your own episodes. But if any of the following are happening, it's time to get help. If you feel behind, if you're inconsistently publishing episodes, if your show sounds unedited or unpolished, or you can hear the edits, if you're reluctant to produce episodes week after week, if you're overwhelmed by the tech, if you're not repurposing to the extent that you want to be, or if your podcast isn't generating leads yet. Most financial professionals hit the wall around the same point. It's when you realize your time is better spent advising clients, closing cases, working your plan, rather than editing episodes. That's when a full-service podcast production team like mine starts to make sense. So, what does ROI look like for financial pros? Well, let's be honest with each other about what you really want. You don't want downloads. You want better client conversations, more educated prospects, warmer leads, higher conversions, more introductions and referrals, stronger relationships with existing clients, and a reputation that reaches beyond your already existing circle. Your podcast is an authority machine, and when you invest in it, your firm will feel the results. So here's a couple of ideas for you. You could do what Danette Lowe did with her show, Ready to Retire. She created a library of about 30 episodes based on the common situations she's walked clients through over the past 20 years as a CFP. Not only do clients come to her because they heard the podcast, but they come already understanding that she's been through it multiple times, and they're already trusting that she can help them navigate that same situation. This is an example of direct podcast to client positioning, with the podcast at the top of the funnel where it does the attraction work for you. Or you could do what Annie Dickerson did with the Life and Money show, where we actually found that the potential clients that checked out the podcast were doing it as part of their due diligence process before investing with Annie's business, Good Egg Investments. The show's 200 plus episodes acted like a big blinking sign of trust and longevity and proved to them that Annie and her team would still be there even if the economy took a downturn. So in this case, the podcast was a mid-funnel credibility builder where listeners could deepen their comfort and trust with Annie and get to know her. And that solidified their decision on Good Egg as their real estate investment partner of choice. So, if either of these scenarios sound like something that would help your business, then let's unpack when done for you production makes sense versus when you need to outsource. If you want your podcast to work without you running into burnout, produce weekly high quality episodes, turn one recording into dozens of marketing assets, all while increasing your authority and generating leads and nurturing prospects, then done for you production isn't a luxury item anymore. It's a smart allocation of your marketing budget. Your time is valuable. Your expertise is valuable. Your content is valuable. And your show should reflect that. It should look and sound and feel valuable. If you want my guidance applied to your unique situation and your unique business, and you want to learn whether your podcast investment is actually paying off, I'd like to have that conversation with you. And no, it is not a sales call. It is a discovery call where we are literally discovering if working together is the right fit. I'm going to ask you questions about your business and your podcast to discover where you are in the process and what your frustrations and your needs are. And then you get to ask me questions to discern whether you like me and my offers and whether you're ready to work with me. My links are in the show notes. Thanks for committing this time to yourself today. Thank you for believing in and investing in your own show. It's always a joy to have you here.
Thanks for spending your time with me today on Podcasting for Financial Professionals. If you walked away with one idea that helps you get more visible, increase your authority, or turn your podcast into a real lead generating machine, then your time was worth it. Before you go, let's make sure you have strong intros, outros, and a trailer for your podcast that pulls in your ideal clients. Grab the Attraction Messaging Blueprint. It gives you the formula, examples, and worksheets to make the most important segments of your show count. Download it for free right now at podcastabundance.com/attraction-messaging-blueprint.